Cool.
Okay, what's up, people? My name is Justin Shaifer here, also known as Mr. Fascinate, and this is the STEM Success Summit. We are bringing you amazing people from diverse backgrounds that are just killing the game in STEM, and they are here to provide some insights for you and also to help develop a community of folks that you can look to your left and right and see that there are other people like you in these spaces that are trying to do the same things. So I'm here with a very special guest, a mentor, a role model of mine, Danni Washington, the Mocha Mermaid herself. Danni, can you introduce yourself? I feel like I'm not doing you justice here. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Hey, Justin. It's really great to be here. So my name is Danni Washington, and I've been in science communications for the last 10 plus years. I studied marine biology at the University of Miami, and from there decided to go toward a path of becoming a communicator on television and through digital media. And so it's been an exciting journey. I also co-founded a nonprofit called Big Blue and You in Miami, which we use ocean conservation to teach young people about how to engage with ocean conservation through art and science. So combining those two fields. And I just love what I do. Right now, I'm currently at the airport recording this video because I'm en route to a speaking engagement in Wisconsin.
Woo!
So yeah,
Yeah,
gotta
Danny's
squeeze it
a
in.
busy person, and she made some time in her busy schedule for us. So we definitely got to show her some love for this. And Danny, I mean, I think it's great what you said. You know, you become a face for STEM and even climate change. Becoming an advocate for that. But also you have real programs in the real world that are solving the problems. And so I think a lot of our audience aspires to do the same, and we'll be getting some really good keys from you. As a matter of fact, I'd love for you to dive into that a little bit more, actually. If you could give us a brief interview of your past 10 years communicating science, where you started, where you are now, and what you plan to do in the future.
For sure. So I started out making videos for textbooks. And so that began in 2008 when I was working with Pearson Publishing, and I was working with a team of science filmmakers, and we were called Untamed Science. And we made about 200 science videos for K through 12 science books that are still in classrooms now, and had a blast. But that was really like film school for me. That was the moment where I learned the power of storytelling and how to craft a story and do it well. And so that was where it all confirmed that I definitely wanted to continue doing this. So I focused on, after completing that project, moving into linear television, just like Bill Nye did and other science stars on television have in the past. But I hadn't seen a woman who looked like me do it yet. So that's where the goal was born. And from there, started working on ocean conservation projects, traveled a lot, small digital projects. And then finally in 2016, after posting a lot of content on my YouTube channel and just online in general, online branding, a production development, a development director at a production company saw one of my videos, and she decided to approach me about a new concept that they were just about to film for Fox called Nature Knows Best. And the show is all about biomimicry, looking at tech and design inspired by nature. And so that was my very first nationally broadcasted television show on Fox networks, broadcasted to about, syndicated to about 95 million homes across the US. And that was awesome. I worked on that show for 2 years, and it aired for 3 seasons. So season 1 and 2 were on reruns the third season, but I absolutely enjoyed that. And then now I'm currently working on a show called CBS Mission Unstoppable, and it's all about women in STEM. So we're going out and profiling different women in different STEM fields, and it's hosted by Miranda Cosgrove. She's an actor from Disney, but she's very passionate about encouraging more girls to go into STEM fields. And so I'm a correspondent alongside another wonderful woman named Erica, and we just travel around the US interviewing these phenomenal women who are doing incredible things in STEM.
Amazing. Absolutely killing it, Danny. Super
Thank
proud
you.
to hear all that. And I feel like you didn't even mention that one thing, that you are the first woman of color to host an American science show. Like, let's not forget
Yes.
that. Let's make sure that our audience is putting some respect on your name, because not only did you not see anyone that was looking like you that was doing this, but you became that person that you wanted to see. And I
Oh,
think that
thank
that's,
you.
I mean, I think it's incredible, and I think you have a lot of valuable information to give our folks. And I mean, one of the things I really wanted to talk about is a science communicator checklist, right? So, I've started into this career in the past couple of years or so, but you're a veteran in this game. So, in terms of if I want to be a science communicator in 2019, what are some things I should have on my checklist? What are some things I need to have if I'm going to start on this journey?
Well, there are lots of things, but don't get overwhelmed. I mean, you just got to start with what you have. So I would highly recommend, first of all, creating a storyline for yourself. You got to really think about your life and your life path, what you've been through, the things you've experienced. Write all that stuff down, even like as like a journal style, or even just a simple list, bullet point list of the significant moments in your life that were life altering or they impacted you in a really great way. You should write all that down. Once you write all that down, then you have a better idea of where your timeline is and like how you arrived at the point you are right now, whether you're just finishing undergrad or you're finishing graduate school or you're a postdoc. Whatever level of education you're at, there's always room to start there. So once you've done that, then it's about creating a brand for yourself online. And because we're living in the digital era, you definitely have to have an online presence. It's kind of like Monopoly. If you don't own your own domain name at this point in the game, you're behind. So
Mm.
immediately buy your domain, whatever that might be. If you want to go with a moniker like Mr. Fascinate, or if you want to use your actual name, doesn't matter. Just pick something and buy it, get it. And then you can sign up with, these amazing website building sites, whether it's Wix or Squarespace, that provide all of the tools that you need, the templates, everything. It's literally plug and play, and you create your own online resume, which is your website, and start there. And from then, I mean, I started my website in 2015 when I just did DanniWashington.com. And that's right when Squarespace began. And from since then, I've just been building and building, layering on like a cake, just keep building, building, building. And I'm really happy with my website now, but it's just like, it's my portfolio that's visible to the world. So you have to have that website done. From there, then you need to decide, okay, well, what type of science communications am I good at? What do I love to do? How do I get fired up? Don't do something that you're not good at or not interested in. Like, doesn't make sense. You're forcing yourself into misery. Pick something that you like. So whether it's being in front of the camera, whether it's hosting live audience events, keynotes, things like that. Maybe you want to do a podcast, or maybe you're an amazing artist slash scientist and you want to create animations that communicate things that matter to you. Pick something. And then once you do that, then you got to just go build content and don't stop. Whatever you have, like I said from the very beginning, use what you have. Don't worry about having a super fancy camera or major editing equipment. Just use what you have, and don't be afraid to put yourself out there. That's usually the scariest part for most people, is just being afraid to put themselves online or like sharing what they do. And right now, in this moment in human history, we need all science communicators to step up, because all the confusion that's going on right now, especially politically, socially, there are so many things that could be resolved if more people with a scientific background and scientific knowledge had a bigger say. We could probably resolve them quicker. So I just say, just put all bets aside and just go for it.
Right. And, we have some, just for more context, Danny, at the STEM Success Summit, we have more people that are in tech backgrounds and engineering backgrounds and mathematics backgrounds as well. And I think, their voices are equally important in a lot of these things. But, I think there has been a war on science and kind of conflating scientific study with misinformation, which is like really, literally what we attempt to go against every day. Like that's how the scientific method works. But, in that space, I mean, I think a lot of the things you say apply to engineering folks that want to communicate their ideas, or folks in tech that want to communicate their ideas, right? You need a website. You need to brand yourself, and you need to create content, and you don't have to do it with the nicest of resources, right? So amazing takeaways. Thank you so much for that, Danny.
You're
And so
welcome.
I'm curious because I think, okay, so now let's say, okay, I have all the things, right? Let's say I'm at level 2 now, right? I got my brand, I'm creating content, and I'm getting, maybe hundreds of views a week on my stuff.
Mhm.
What do I do next? Do I start reaching out to people? How do I reach out to people? How do I navigate that space? How did you navigate that space?
Well, I think again, I was focused on linear television. That was my main goal
And
after,
you
let's say,
identified that, right? And you said, this is where I'm going
yes,
to go.
that's the direction I went ahead. And how do I learn that space? And so I started asking questions. I even made the big jump from Miami, where I was born and raised and where I was living, all the way to Los Angeles, because I knew that's where the entertainment industry is housed. So go where the source is. And if you need to make a big move like that, then try it. Just try it. If it doesn't work, then go back to what you were doing. But try something new and put yourself, you gotta push the limit a little bit. You can't be held captive by your fears, because
Mm.
that we just don't have time for that anymore.
That's a
You
bar.
gotta live your truth.
Can't
Yeah.
be held captive by your fears. That's a bar. I
But the entertainment industry and like this whole TV space is definitely difficult. I would say trying to figure out how to get in is, there really is no way in. There's no silver bullet. It's all about relationships and putting yourself out there. If that development director hadn't seen some of the random YouTube content that I had put online, she may have never found me. So there's no telling what that is, but I make sure whenever I'm in a room where I'm networking with folks, or I'm at a party, or I'm just people who know me, they know what I love and what I'm passionate about, and they remember it. And then when an opportunity comes up, I've had that happen to me several times, where friends, mentors, and even just colleagues remembered that, oh my God, Danny, she loves this stuff. She wants to be a science communicator. She wants, and then they put my name out there, and it's like a chain reaction from there.
Yeah, it's almost so serendipitous how it happens sometimes, huh? And I think the great magic happens when you have all that stuff together that you talked about, that baseline, your website, you got content, because these people might be interested. You might meet the perfect person tomorrow, but
Hmm.
your website isn't up, or you don't have the content. They're
Yeah.
like, well, we got this other person who's a fully formed brand. They have stuff that you can tell they're comfortable on camera, right? And it's like, if you are prepared, when that opportunity is there, that's when the magic can really
Yes.
happen. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Where preparation meets opportunity. And you got to also be aware of opportunity. Some people are like, it's just going to come to me. No, you need to open your eyes and see and ask questions, and just be open to people and open to conversations. You never know where that'll lead you.
Right. And I think, especially as a person of color, a lot of our audiences are people of color. Navigating this space is, I mean, you have to be very intentional. Like there's not so much of this, oh, well, my uncle knows my friend. Like we don't really have, a lot of us don't really have that luxury of having a friend or
Oh,
uncle in business that just knows about our love and can communicate with the same passion that we have. Like we have to play chess at every step. And so, I
yes.
mean, can you tell us a little bit about that as well in terms of, how you've maybe navigated this space? Do you feel like you've been at a disadvantage? Do you feel like it's been an advantage? Or, what kind of techniques and strategies have you approached this with?
Well, no, it's felt like I've been rolling a boulder up a hill. Like I've fallen on my face so many times. I've wanted to give up so many times. But what keeps me motivated and moving is simply that childhood passion that I had for the ocean, and wanting to have the freedom to have to go scuba diving and to go out in the ocean, and build a life where I could be in nature more often than not. And I know, as a person of color, we all know that those that's a luxury, to be able to go out into nature and enjoy yourself like that. It comes with hard work. It comes with energy and time put into things that you're making money to make a living, so that you can make time to have fun. And so for me, that's always been a huge driving factor. Also, my family, although they thought it was nuts what I was trying to do when I was first getting started, now they understand where it's going, and they're 100% supportive and continue to encourage me. So I definitely give thanks for that. And then I also have an amazing team. So I've been, over the last few years, I've been building a few people who have been working with me to help support my brand and to help support my movement, because I can't do it alone. It's a lot happening at once. So I have a virtual assistant. I have two co-managers. One happens to be my mom. And then I also work with just a great network of folks that believe in me. So mentors that I've met in the past have been amazing as well. So just really build your core team, and know who believes in what your vision is. But you got to know what your vision is first. If you don't, then nobody can help you.
Right. So, okay, let's say, okay, and I think now we're approaching whatever level I'm at, in terms of, I've built a brand, I have the story, I got the content, I'm getting into this space, I got a couple shows, and I'm at the early stages of building a team. There's a huge movement that we have with the Magic Cool Bus project, and you guys can talk to
Yeah.
me about that as well, in New York. But I'm in the early stages of building that team, and so I'm curious now. Let's say this is level 3, right? And now I'm ready to build a team. So what kind of things should I be considering when vetting people to be a part of this? And I mean, yeah, how did you navigate that space?
You got to look for people who have skill sets that you don't have. So you've got to do your own personal inventory of what you're good at, what you have experience in, and what you're not good at, and what you don't have experience in. And once you identify those things, then you can look for the type of person that you need by your side to help fulfill those gaps. As far as management's concerned, that's been a huge game changer for me because it takes away the pressure of, let's say, trying to figure out, a speaker fee, or looking into timelines, or figuring out plane tickets. Even that stuff, like, I need help with because I'm busy doing all the other things and filming and things like that. I need support. So, making that list is crucial. And then I worked with a lot of interns too in the beginning, just people who were like curious about my journey and wanted to be a part of it, and I got support from them there too, and helping me build content. And so every step of the way, there's somebody if you can identify what you need.
Cool. Yeah, I really love the interns thing actually, and I think I've told Danny this before. I think there are college students that are just salivating over Danny's career and like would love to just hear. 'Cause I mean, being an entrepreneur is so cool, and Danny's got this entrepreneurial approach to science communication. And I know there's like a bunch of college kids, even at Columbia down the street, that would just love to work for Danny for free. So I'm just curious about how did you find those interns? Was it they found you through the content you put out? Or was it you found them or?
Um, it's probably like 75% of them reaching out to me, whether it was like a speaking gig that I did and they followed up, we spoke afterward or something like that. That's normally how it will work. I've had a few random folks email me from out of the blue who happen to see my content as well. Um, but other than that, yeah, it's tough, but it's hard managing interns. You got to be really specific about what you need. You can't just be like, I have this and make this whole like big, paint this huge picture. No, be very tactical. Figure out exactly what task you need done. Make a list. Boom, done. Set a timeline because 9 times out of 10, you're going to have that intern for a short period of time. So make the most of that time and ask them to support you in that moment, and then support them afterward and continue to build that relationship even if they're not working with you anymore, because you never know down the road where that could come into play.
Right. No, it makes a lot of sense. And I mean, yeah, no, I think that it's a huge deal to have people that are supporting you, but that stuff takes a long, I think, for me at least, it took a while to get to that space where, people are now reaching back and saying, hey, like we want to help you build your thing. I like what you're doing. Like, let me be a part of it. And I think it comes down to it's like a psychology thing, right? I think a lot of people get discouraged in the beginning because people aren't flocking to them immediately as soon as they start their YouTube channel to, oh, I want to edit all your videos. Like, no.
No, no.
Everybody, what I heard someone say one day, and I think this applies to you as well, is everyone wants to be a part of a winning team, right?
Hmm.
And so, it takes a while to build that momentum. And maybe it's you and a couple other people in the beginning, if you're lucky. But a lot of times, in these kind of spaces, when you're not around a network of people that are interested in the same thing, like it's you by yourself. But like
Yep.
you put your head down and build that traction and keep going over and over again. And eventually people recognize, wait a minute, this person's winning. Danny's a winner. Okay, I want to be a part of this winning team. Hey, Danny, let me reach out to you cold. I think that's how I even got connected to you, right, Danny? I reached out to you. I'm like, yo,
You
Danny's
did.
killing it. You know what I mean? And so it's literally it's how you start to like you have to build your own wins, and that's what starts to attract other people that want to help you and that want to build into your vision. But that takes a grind, right? Like a long
Yes.
grind by yourself in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, I think at least 6 or 7 of the last 10 years have been, it felt like it was completely solo.
Mhm.
Other than just having odd jobs to pay the bills, I've done all kinds of jobs. I've been hosts at restaurants. I've done, promos at concerts, all kinds of like
What?
short. Yeah, because I
What
had to pick
else?
jobs.
I'm
What else have I done? No, I worked at a tech startup in Venice Beach. I've like
what?
all these random things. Yeah, that were all short term because I knew I couldn't fully invest myself in a long term like job because I had to have this freedom to move and to bounce as the opportunity arose. I was ready. And so that for me was part of my personal sacrifice because that meant I was not making a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I lived very frugally. And, I lived like a nomad, moving around a lot, stuff in storage. And I'm just, going from conference to other events to, just different opportunities that came about or traveling for a production. So I had to let go of a lot of ideas that people thought I would be doing, or things that I would have at that moment in my life. You know, I'm 32, I'm about to be 33. They're like, you should have, you know, should be making your first mortgage payment on a house, and maybe like have a husband. And like, these are all things that are not happening in my life right now because I chose that. Yes, I chose that. I'm not mad about it. I love my life. I really do. And I know all those other things will come when they're supposed to come. But for now, I can't shake this calling that I have within me that's been here for a long time. So I'm just stepping into my purpose, and that's what I'm going to continue to do.
Oh, that's facts. That's facts. And I think you brought up a lot of really good points there. I mean, I think one of the biggest ones I want to hit on is like, if you want to do something like this, money is definitely a factor, right? Like you
Yes.
can't, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you can start this off on a $0 budget. Like you said, a lot of these
Yeah.
things you can even build a website on like WordPress, or at least a template for a website for free. If you don't
Hmm.
have the monthly money to spend on Squarespace. So there's ways to do it, like pretty much all the scrappy like level one stuff that we categorized for free. But if you want to really dive into this and take it to the next level and have the conviction of a person that is all in, you need capital and you need to find ways to generate that capital. And so, yeah, I
Yep.
mean, it's something that you and I both have done. We both live frugally in pursuit of our calling, you know, and especially in the beginning. And you know,
Yep.
as stuff starts to come in, you stay kind of frugal because you know, this lifestyle is not necessarily like a consistent salary. So
Yeah.
I want to switch gears here a little bit and get into key resources. So you know, you are a veteran science communicator. Do you have any resources that are like you think a necessity? If I'm trying to start as a science communicator today, what resources should I be aware of?
Resources in like what to read about, or
Things to
um
read about, maybe ways that you learn how to do storytelling, books, any
okay.
kind of things that you'd recommend as a science communicator.
Yeah, I mean, the foundation of science communication is storytelling.
Mhm.
So if you're interested in doing this, you've got to have the basics down of how to tell a good story. We are built as human beings to receive and remember stories. But if it's facts and it's just random things being dropped, we're not going to remember that. We're going to remember an emotional connection to that information. So how can you craft your story better in a more meaningful way that will touch lives that are outside of your bubble? So people who are in your knowledge field or whatever, like, what are those tactics? So getting to the basics of storytelling is always great. And I mean, I could go on for a long time talking about a few of those things, but I think it's really just about going online and doing your homework and
Mhm.
look up, because there's also different styles of storytelling. There's no one correct way, but there are lots of videos out there just to learn the essence of what makes a good story. So
Mhm.
start with that. And then from there, then you got to just look for people who have done it already and what you like about what they do, how they do it, what you don't like, and how can you add your own flair to that. So
Right.
like I watched, growing up, of course, I watched Bill Nye. I watched, um, Magic School Bus. That's, to
Yeah.
me, was definitely SciComm.
Definitely.
I loved watching Steve Irwin and Jeff
Oh,
Corwin.
yeah.
A lot of the guys that were on Discovery and Animal Planet, like those were the folks that I looked up
All
to.
guys. All guys.
All
Yeah.
men, most white men. Yep, mostly white men. And but I pulled what I liked about them. And one of the biggest things that I could note from most of those hosts was their enthusiasm.
Mhm.
And no matter what, they were excited to tell you about this information. And it's just automatic. It happens naturally where someone else is excited, you're going to be excited. So,
Right.
but again, it also depends on your medium. So if you want to be a TV host, you got to learn how to connect with the camera. You got to know how to enunciate your words. You have to know how to um, pace your conversation if you're doing interviews on camera with someone else. These are all nuanced things that you only learn by doing.
Mm.
So you have to get experience. So I've done not just science communication hosting. I've taken up hosting jobs while I was in LA about random things, whether it was about music, about entertainment,
Mm.
just to get practice and learn how those type of hosts do their thing. Because
Mhm.
hosting is different than acting. It's not the same. Acting is a totally different beast. Hosting is about presenting factual information in an engaging way, and there are little subtle things that you can do that make all the difference and help people enjoy watching you tell them information that's important.
Right. Right. No, that's think that's really, really good. That's really, really important to make that distinction. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And so, I mean, I guess this kind of goes into this, but I mean, yeah, like, what things do you wish you knew when you first started this journey of SciComm? I know that's a huge question for someone that's been in the game for this long.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I'd say one of the few things that I wish I knew. Um, okay, the first biggest one would probably be knowing, don't worry about judgment. For that first half of those first 5 years, I was really, really concerned about academia, like criticizing me, which maybe they have. I have no idea. But what I had to differentiate was that I'm not doing this for them.
Mm,
Okay, I respect academia because that is really the pillars of STEM. Of course, we need all the brilliant researchers, scientists, everybody in the game involved, because if we don't have that part, then we don't have the information to disseminate. But that fear that I had was just feeling like I was going to be judged, like that I was going to be shot down, like you're wrong, you shouldn't be doing this, like stop. And I had to let that go. And from there, then I realized, yeah, it's about the kids that I want to speak to, because I focus primarily on, the K through 12 demographic. They're the ones I'm investing my time and energy into, and they are the only ones that matter to me. So that's kind of what has dispelled that fear. It's ironic because tomorrow I'm going to speak in front of a whole bunch of PhDs and postdocs, and I'll
uh,
admit I am nervous. I'm nervous, but
uh,
what I try to do all the time is to speak from the heart, and I think that's really one of the biggest factors that's going to change the game with SciComm, is that if people who are doing the science communicating show themselves, show that they're human, and
yeah.
show their hearts. That to me is what's going to speak to a bigger audience and invite more people into the conversation.
Mm. Yeah, because I mean, I think when you look at this overwhelming problem, I think obviously when we look at climate change specifically, it's a huge, a systematic issue that requires multiple types of people to solve the problem. We don't just
Yes.
need hyper analytical scientists sitting in the room. We need musicians that can make a beautiful song. For some reason, the Lil Dicky song is coming to mind right now. I don't know if
Yeah,
you heard that one, but like
I
we
did.
need
Yeah.
people with all types of talents, with all types of personalities that are invested in solving this problem. And, with you communicating your feelings, speaking from the heart about things, you cast a much broader net, to the audience. So I think that's a great takeaway as well, is for, whatever type of science or even other type of STEM that you're trying to communicate, speak from that in a way that's not overly scientific. And obviously, like we said, narrative is king. Emphasize that narrative. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
And we're getting close to the end of our time. It's we're getting really close. I got a couple more questions for you,
Okay.
but I want to start summing things up here. Danny, why is SciComm important to you?
SciComm is important to me because I think that it's going to be the field that will change the course of human history. And I know it's a big statement, but where we're at right now, collectively, 7 point whatever billion of us on the planet, we've got to come up with solutions that make sense for everyone. And I think science in its, inherent, you know, uh, just inherently is justice. It's about justice. It's based in justice. It's objective, and I think with SciComm we can start to communicate ideas that will solve a lot of problems for all of us. And so, yeah, I just want to see a level playing field, and I also want to take SciComm to the next level where we can apply the ideas that we're communicating so that people feel like it's involved in their everyday lives, because
Hmm.
it is. It's just
Right.
about acknowledging it and recognizing it, and that's the role of science communicators. We're bringing that to light, and and ultimately to protect uh, our planet. I mean, the planet doesn't need to be saved. It's really humanity that needs to get our act together. And I think by looking back at nature, that's why I love biomimicry so much. Looking to nature for our answers is going to be the key. And we need scientists and science communicators to do that.
Mm. So profound, Danny. Thank you so much for the amazingly wise.
Welcome.
Where can we reach you for more wisdom and more amazing science content?
Well, you could definitely check out my website. It's just my name, Danni, Danni Washington.com. And then I've got all the the social platforms on the internet. You can find me on Insta, Twitter, Facebook. But yeah, feel free to email me at team at DanniWashington.com if you have any other questions. I'm always open to talking, and just like how we got connected, I'm so glad that you reached out, because it's really a blessing to be able to talk to other science communicators and hear where you're at, and if I can be of any support, and vice versa. So this is a team effort. Like, we all can't be siloed by ourselves. We got to work together. So I'm all about connecting and being that. And then hopefully, especially with, you know, communicators of color, we need to really be together, because it's tough out here. It's tough, and we need to build our own support system so that we can be a part of the conversation.
Absolutely. Well said, Danni. And I mean, full disclosure, I've definitely used Danni's website as a template. I've been looking at Danni's stuff sometimes and like, this, I mean, I got to put this kind of shot on my, okay, let me pose like this on my next speaking gig. Danni doing it like this. So if you're really trying to do this, yeah, definitely check out Danni's site. It's a really good, I think, template, and you use a Squarespace template that you're using, right?
Yeah, I love Squarespace.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
also am Squarespace, and so I mean, this isn't an endorsement of Squarespace, but yeah, I think it definitely has been effective at achieving the goal. So thank you
Yeah,
so much for your time, Danni.
you're
And any last
welcome. My
words, any
pleasure.
last words for our folks, or anything?
Yeah, I think really just have fun. Start having fun. That's what I really want to see science communicators doing, is making whatever their love is, whatever their passion is, have fun with it, and just get creative. We need it. It's time.
Boom. That's what I'm talking about, Danni. Thank you so much again,
You're
and
welcome.
I'm sure that our audience will be seeing you again soon.
All right. Thanks,
All
Justin.
right. Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
All right.